Good Morning Gwinnett presents the Friday Morning Mingle, the show hosted by the women of the Thrive Tribe, sponsored by the Gwinnett Women's Chamber of Commerce. Check out the ladies every Friday morning at 10 a.m. as they talk about their real life as an entrepreneur. If you miss an episode, be sure to go to www.goodmorninggwinnett.com to listen to past shows. Sit back and enjoy it.
Good morning. Welcome to the first episode of the Friday Morning Mingle. Listen, it's so crazy. You would think that I would be used to doing this by now, but this is the first time I've done it, and it's not more than me and a guest on the show. So listen, guys, welcome to the first episode of the Friday Morning Mingle. I'm Audrey Bell Kearney. This show is brought to you by Good Morning Gwinnett. Normally on Fridays, I take Fridays off, but we have decided to come out and mingle with you every Friday morning. You may see all 6 of us. You may see 3 of us. You may see 2 of us. Because listen, we are busy women. And so you never know where we're going to be in the world. So just know that you won't see all of us all the time. It's actually 6 of us. But today it's only 4 of us here. So hopefully Ebony may pop in. She may not. Bridget can't be here. But we decided to start that Friday Morning Mingle because we are all new authors. Well, Letitia's a new author. Georgette and I have been authors since 1998. Kind of dating ourselves, G. Lucretia has been an author for some time. So what we're going to do is we want to talk about real life as an entrepreneur. And here's the thing. I've been one for a very long time. So has Georgette. So have all of us. We've all been, Lucretia, we've all been entrepreneurs from a long time. We all come from different backgrounds, different. Like I was born in Georgia, raised in Jersey. Georgette was born in New York. Lucretia, Georgia. Letitia, South Carolina. We got different backgrounds. We got different stories. But what we want to do is create a show that's going to empower people to just understand that you can do whatever you want to do. And we're going to talk about real life because being an entrepreneur is not easy. So don't think it is. And we want to let you know that it's not. So we're going to make sure that, we talk about real life here. We talk about business. So I'm not going to keep rambling on. I'm going to invite everybody to introduce themselves because this is our first time together here. So I want you to introduce yourself. We're going to start at the top, go around. So we're going to start with Georgette, then Letitia, then Lucretia.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Friday Morning Mingle. I'm so excited to be here. But I tell you, I am not the morning person in this group. I just want y'all to know that. So it's like,
real talk.
Real talk. And to come on live, I'm like, oh my goodness, alive again. Hey, we're live. So my name is Georgette. I'm from New York. I am a mom of two sons, and I've been an entrepreneur for almost 20-something years. As Audrey mentioned, we started with Big Beautiful Dolls, and I then transitioned into empowering myself first, learning to empower myself, and then sharing that information with women. And so my company is called Dynamic Life, and I utilize positive word cards as well as EFT tapping, and I'm an EFT tapping practitioner as well as the vice president of the Gwinnett Women's Chamber. And so I'm excited to be here with everybody. And I just authored a new book, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. I'm sure about the books that we're authoring, and it has to do with business growth using EFT tapping, as well as using that as a way to help lessen your anxiety and your stress. And I definitely will be tapping because I am live. Okay, that's just how it is. reduce my stress for being live. And we're going to talk about that too, about different fears and things like that you have, that you can get over that you can learn to get over as an entrepreneur, because as being an entrepreneur, you get thrusted in so many different types of venues, spaces, challenges. And I think we all have that in common, being an entrepreneur, learning to do different things and being a little bit, taken aback about how we have to move forward through that. So, yeah. Thank you so much. That's me.
Hey, Marie Hunter. So Marie Hunter is watching us live on LinkedIn. She is an amazing young lady. I met her around about when we were doing the church preaching. So it must have been about 2015, 2016. Her family owns an oil company. And so when I met her, I thought that was just amazing. So shout out to Marie. Glad you joined us, darling. Can't wait to get together again. Letitia, she's a Sag like you, by the way.
Oh,
I'm surrounded by fish. I'm surrounded by fish, Virgos, and Pisces. I don't know what that means, God. What does that mean?
Well, she's a Sagittarius, and that means she's a dynamic woman. So welcome, welcome, welcome.
She's a dynamic woman. She really is. Little Spitfire like you. Little Spitfire. She dances and all that good stuff. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
All right. So go ahead, Letitia. Introduce yourself.
Okay, so good morning, everyone. My name is Letitia Smith. I am the CEO and founder of Premier Tax and Business Solutions. I've been a part of this wonderful group of women for just under 6 months. And through this group, they've encouraged us to create multiple streams of income. One of those things being able to create a book. So my book is called So You Think You Want to Be a Boss? And that spans from my own personal experience as well as working with a lot of my clients. And hence the word think, which is very, very critical because a lot of people want to be a boss, but really have no idea of what it takes to actually be a boss. So that's pretty much what the book is about. So I'm excited to be here. I am a mother of 3. 23, 22, and 17. I know I don't look like I have kids that old, but I do. Anyway, so welcome everyone who was listening, who was watching. We're excited to see you guys virtually and excited to be able to share our stories. And I'm just glad to be a part of this group.
It's on you, darling. You up next.
Oh, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, ladies. My name is Lucretia Key, and I am a author, a retired hairstylist. I also drive a school bus. I take care of some of your children. And I'm just excited about being a part of this group as well. My latest endeavor is Praise and Worship the Saga. And it's a beautiful story about, it's full of intrigue, drama. It has music for all the music lovers. It has a poetic feel to it, and it introduces you to a multitude of beautiful characters, beautiful people. It's a small town feel with a big impact. It's just a glorious book. Praise and Worship the Saga. I'm a little nervous because this is like my first time. So, but look, hello, everybody.
Listen, don't be nervous. And listen, we want to keep it real on here. Like right now, hello to everybody on Amazon. We're streaming live on Facebook. We're streaming live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, and Amazon. So everybody on Amazon watching, we see you watching. Thank you for joining us. Everybody on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter, thank you for joining us. This show is about keeping it real. Entrepreneurship is not easy. And so for a little bit of background on me, I've been an entrepreneur for 26 years. Georgette and I we invented the first plus size fashion dolls. So normally you can see them in Georgette's background, but you can't see them. But we invented the first
usually they're back there, yeah.
Yeah, we invented the first plus size fashion doll. I call it our first real business. And we learned so much with that business. But as the years went on, we got the bug to stay an entrepreneur. And that's when it all kind of started to flip us. When we had our one focus, we were doing great. Yes, and then we discovered, oh my God, we can do other things. And that's when it started to go to the left, because now we discovered we can do all of these things, and we wanted to do all of these things. So for those of you who are joining us, Georgette and I are the founders of the Gwinnett Women's Chamber of Commerce. It is the official chamber of commerce for the women in business here in Gwinnett County. Lucretia and Letitia are both on the board, so I thank them for volunteering their time. Yeah. We could not make this chamber what it is becoming without the help of great women. So I appreciate you all. So true. Good Morning Gwinnett is a podcast that I started in 2018 just as a regular audio podcast. And somebody down in the corner, I don't know which corner she's in, but she's the little one with the blonde hair. She suggested that we do a video on Friday mornings. And I'm like, yeah, that's my day off. Like, no, but we're on a mission to do big things. And that's when you have to make sacrifices. So I'm glad that we have decided to do this. I'm glad that the ladies have joined us. It's 3 of us, it's 6 of us, and we're called the Influence Her Circle. I kind of just made that up, y'all. It's like, are we called that? We're called the Thrive Tribe. Whatever my mind comes up with today is who we are. We're the Thrive Tribe. influence her circle. So that's what we do. We want to talk. The goal here is just be light and airy, but truthful about our life as entrepreneurs. And so for me, been an entrepreneur for 26 years. I have had my ups and downs, baby. Let me just say that. I remember when I first started, I would go to sleep at night and I would hear anything and I would think they were going to they were coming to repossess my truck because everything I had went into my business. So I would jump out the bed and peep out the window because I wanted to make sure now if they came to get this truck, what was I going to do? Go outside and like, please don't take my truck. Sacrifice that I made early on to become an entrepreneur and have been one for a very long time. And I can't see myself doing anything other than that. I've tried to go back to work, I think 3 times at a real job. And yeah, each time I came back to become an entrepreneur. So that's a little bit about my journey. And I want tell them something about your journey, guys. Like what was a time in life where you thought this is crazy, I'm not doing this, or I really love doing what I'm doing? What was the time?
We feel like that every day.
Every day. I was just literally going to say that, Letitia.
We feel like that.
Yes.
I'm sitting up here trying to think about it, and I'm thinking that's every day right now.
Yeah, that is every day. You have to continue to, talk yourself into, okay, why did I sign up for this again? Yep. So it just depends, on the situation. But I can tell you, you said that you would hear noises and you will wake up and you will think that they repossess your car. Well, baby, they repossessed mine.
And mine. And mine.
And what's so funny, this was probably about maybe 15 years ago. I think in my first introduction of calling myself wanting to be an entrepreneur. And so I didn't know anything about it. I had no clue. And so, here I am, my naive self in my early 20s. I called the police. Because I
stole your car, right? Somebody stole your car.
I thought that someone came into my yard and stole my car. And so when I called the police, they was like, well, ma'am, what kind of car do you have? So I explained it. I'm upset. It was like, oh, I hate to tell you that your car was repossessed and you're going to have to call the dealer. And I was like, oh my God, I've never experienced nothing like that in my life, like ever. I was embarrassed, to say the least. Yeah. I'm calling the police because my car was repossessed, but it taught me a very valuable lesson. Park in your garage.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Well, there you have it. If you're an entrepreneur and struggling and you want to keep your car parked in the garage,
just clean out those garages first and then park the car. Because honestly, I will tell you, speaking of garage, I don't think I've ever really had a car parked in a garage. Okay, because it just seems like I have a bunch of stuff. That's just
who are you telling?
That's just what it is. I mean, when I first moved into my house and when we got here to Georgia, my garage obviously was empty, and I was so excited because I had a garage for like the first 6 months, and then and then stuff shows up. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, so clean out your garage so you make sure you have space just in case you need to park that car, just in case.
Yeah, you know what, guys? What's crazy is I'm actually in that space now. I've had things repossessed, I've lost homes, and all of that. So, and I'm actually transitioning right now as we journey along. But what I have found is being amongst this wonderful group of women that I feel even more invigorated, empowered. Sometimes I'm like looking around like, okay, crickets chirping, and stuff like, what are you doing at this good old age? But it's an experience. And I didn't mention that I have a company, Lucky Bell Creations. That's my company. I didn't even mention that, but sometimes you can get a little nervous or unsure of a situation. But in the midst of this transition, it's sometimes it's a very tranquil feel as well. I feel liberated. I feel free. Not kind of like when in my youth, I'm like you, Letitia, I'm like, shoot, wait a minute. I was naive too. I'm like, somebody stole my car. No, ma'am, you stole your car, or whatever. But it's just a good space that I'm in right now, even though I'm not as settled as I want to be.
Right.
But in the growth process, it's really amazing. At this age of I'll be 52, I can
Ooh,
hear
babies on here. Go ahead.
But I'm ready, and being surrounded by y'all. Hey, just for everybody who's tuning in, these some powerful women you're looking at right here now, myself included. But when you are associated with women such as yourselves, you can fly. They kind of lift you up and become the wind beneath your wings. So it's really great being here. I'm ready to keep on moving past this phase, but it's interesting.
Oh, don't worry. If you're in this group, don't worry. That will be happening. There's just no doubt about it.
I want people to understand that we're here to have a good time on Friday morning because Friday is like my day off. So I don't want to go in, I don't want to be all stuffy. So you're gonna hear us talk about all kinds of stuff. This is not for the children because there's no telling what you might hear. This is for the grown and sexy entrepreneur. So put your kids out, go send them to school, go send them inside the playroom somewhere because there's no telling what you might hear on here. And if you got a question or comment, drop it inside the comment section. We'll pop it up and we'll answer it on air. So please, you can do that by all means. So what are you guys working on right now? Because I know for me, I got a bunch of stuff. I almost said something else. I'm gonna keep it PG as long as I can.
But you just said it's for grown and sexy, so girl, go ahead and say that thing. Use that word.
But see, YouTube will ban you if you say curse words.
Okay.
So I gotta be careful what I say because YouTube will slap your hands. Like,
we don't want to be banned coming out the gates. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Not out the gate because YouTube has changed its rules. If you're on there using profanity, chances are there will be no ads run on your video. Go ahead.
I understand.
I have to stay on top of that stuff. And YouTube is tough. Like YouTube is doing a lot of good things. There are entrepreneurs over there who are just starting killing the game. But here's the thing, right? Even when people start talking about put your YouTube channel, YouTube is a business by itself almost, right? YouTube is a business by itself because you have to put in so much time and energy if you're trying to really use the platform to grow. So you have to stay abreast of all of the different rules and regulations that they come out with. And they always come out with something new. So that was when they came out with, I think in February, like if you want to put ads on your videos, if you want to have any chance of monetizing YouTube, you can't swear, you can't show bloody stuff. Like, kids like to play them games where they killing, like the game they're killing people and all the blood. They was like, yeah, not. And they get a lot of views because they have a good following of people, but YouTube's like our advertisers don't want to advertise that. They don't want to associate their brands with that. So they don't want to, you can put it up there, but we're not going to run ads against it because our sponsors don't want to associate their brands with that kind of stuff. So you got to be a little careful, every now and again, some might slip out. Hopefully they don't slap our hands too much, but we won't go overboard. So what are you working on right now? What are some challenges? What's going on?
I think it's just challenges is just making sure that, at least for me, is to just keep things together. You know what I mean? And workflow. That's always been a challenge for me. I wind up with 15 projects, and then I realize I have space for only 5, what I mean? So it's just really, I think the challenge is in keeping them flowing and keeping each one of them productive and moving forward. So, between the GWC, I also have my podcast that I still do for my In the Doll World. And then I have my tapping business as well as, utilizing my cards with that. So I think it's just a matter of keeping everything together and understanding, the time that I need to spend on each one of them to help them to grow. That's probably right now the challenge that I have. So, yeah.
They got all these systems. They got so much software out there right now that you're supposed to be able to automate everything. And I've been looking at all of them, trying to figure out how to automate everything because I would really love to be in a situation where I could just hit a button and everything just happens. we haven't gotten that.
All would love to be in that situation. But see, here's the thing with automation. Automation will be great because it allows you, like you say, to have things to be consistently done. But what happens when you get that automation, you forget that you have something done. So then if something happens, because we're dealing with technology or is down, because you're not actually constantly doing it or looking at it, you forget about it and not realizing, oh, wait, I haven't ran an ad in 6 months. Well, you hadn't ran one in 6 months because an error message popped up that you didn't correct. So I think, we definitely want to make sure I'll say in my opinion that some things you should
Yeah.
automate, and some things, and even with the automation, you do want to have checks and balances to make sure that whatever you had set up, is still working. Which brings me to a point when you were asking what we were working on. I think a lot of times, I can say from my experience, you get caught up in condition with the business, especially if you've been in business, for the length of time that we all have collectively and individually, to where you get caught up with the status quo. And so thinking, hey, I'm doing okay in what you are. But what I've learned is that you still have to do a checkup on your business. No matter how successful you are, how things are going, you got to do a checkup. That checkup might mean that it's time for you to rebrand, which is the space I'm in right now. Having to rebrand, go in and check out things that's on my website that is either no longer applicable, or because now I'm a published author, that was not on there. So now I have to go and add that on there.
Yeah.
So then that also means that my marketing and my promotions have to be a little bit different. So it's great, but it's also, like Georgette said, something else that you got to add on your plate that has to be done. So it's like you got to fall in love with time management.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
All the time. So you got to fall in love with that. You got to fall in love with, what, like you just said, I'm off on Fridays, but we need to do this. So guess what? I now work half days on Fridays instead of being completely off. But the great thing is because we are entrepreneurs, you can make that shift and that change anytime.
Yes.
So that's the great thing. So Fridays may no longer be your full off days, but if you need to take a day off in a week, now Wednesdays can be your off day. Who's going to tell you that you can't be? So that's the great thing about being an entrepreneur, is that you can make those changes and not have to worry about getting someone else's permission to do so. You just simply just go ahead and just do it. So for me, I'm working on rebranding, working on getting out of my comfort zone, which is being interviewed, being on podcasts, having a podcast, things that I absolutely hate doing. So Lucretia, I hear you. I don't want to do any of these things either, but guess what? You have to, or we will get left behind. So it's all part of it. But the great thing is that, because we are a part of GWC, we can hire each other to do things that either you're not good at, you don't have the time to do, but it helps you to be able to delegate. So that's just my piece.
Yeah, I agree.
I think you said something that was so interesting. You said we can hire each other. I think that has been the most rewarding thing. Well, the second most rewarding thing about GWC is just seeing how people are hiring each other to do stuff. It's the weirdest thing, because one of the members, she has an event center. The other member said, I need to have an event. I'm going to call her. And she did. So she hired her to do an event at her house. Then she went and rented the center to do a different event. So it has been because I've never seen that before. Let me just be honest, y'all. I've been 26 years. I've been an entrepreneur. I've never been in organizations where I've seen women do business together, ever. And I've been in plenty. I've been the president of some. I've been the vice chair of some. I've been the president of diversity for others. Been in a lot of organizations. And this is the first organization that I've seen where women are actually purchasing services from each other, which is great, because now it's like recycling a dollar back in our community. By the way, our community is called the Thrive Tribe. Yes, please join us. We'd love to have you over there. I was sitting here thinking about what the show, like this is our first episode, y'all, and so I don't even know what we want to talk about. We can talk about whatever we want to talk about, because it's Friday morning. We got an hour to talk about.
And it's our show, okay? So
and it's our show.
There you have it. I love it. Yes, there you have it.
So what do we want to talk about? What else is happening? Any love? Because I know people love, right? Let me say this real quick. I did a podcast.
The two top rows. We won't talk about that. No, I'm just joking.
I did.
You can still love, even though you're married. You can still love.
Oh yeah, that's why we're married so long. Yeah.
I love love. Like I'm a straight up, bro. I'm a diehard romantic at heart. So I love love. It was funny because I was on somebody else's episode last Wednesday, and the topic of the episode was what happens when you outgrow was it last Wednesday? Was it this Wednesday? It was this Wednesday. I'm talking about last Wednesday. What happens when you outgrow your partner?
Mm-hmm.
And it was interesting just to see how it is, because I remember long time ago, y'all, I used to follow a woman. Her name was Allie Brown.
Mm-hmm.
And she, let me tell y'all something. Newsletters are popular right now, but she was the queen of, and she was called the queen of
Yeah.
e-zines,
Yeah.
which was a digital newsletter. She coined that phrase, and she built her empire based on helping people launch e-zines. Now it's them pop back up like it never existed, which is crazy. And I'm sure she's probably sitting back thinking, I started this, which she did. But I was following her, and I remember she was talking about her story, like how she got started. She was saying how, check her out. Her name is Allie Brown, Ali Brown. Shout out to Allie Brown. She was talking about how she was married, and how, and I've done this, so I know this is true. Back in the day, you would buy all of these programs, and they came in boxes, and you would get boxes of DVDs and CDs and all these books and all this stuff, and you would buy them and hide them. I did that. So she said she did the same thing. But what was interesting, she was growing, and her husband was not growing. And she was training her mind, and she was doing her business, and she was growing. And she came to the point where she was like, I can't do this anymore. And she decided to divorce him. And she was living in New York at the time, Georgia. I think she lives in California now.
Yeah, she was.
And she said she remember going up to her flat, because what's a flat, G? Because I've heard that before.
Oh my God, it's like an apartment, that's really what they call it. Yeah.
In Europe, they really say that in Europe.
Yeah.
They said in New York too, because she was like, I went up to my flat, and I'm like, what is it? Okay, I don't know what that is. But anyway, she went to her flat, and she said she remembered laying on the floor crying. She had no furniture, because now she was about to embark on life by herself, and she made a choice to leave her husband. And she was crying about that, because I'm sure she loved him, but it was like they were growing in two separate spaces. So it was interesting, because that was our conversation. And so it was like, what do you do? Do you stay? Do you go? And it was mixed. Some people say stay. Some people say leave right now. Like one person said, leave right now. Go. Don't wait.
See, I have mixed feelings about that.
I think it's a mixed
when people
too.
say, I outgrew my spouse, or my spouse outgrew me, or we're growing in different directions. Because to me, it's so many moving parts in that before you get there. And I think what happens is the communication. There's a huge communication breakdown. So while you're working on your mindset and your mental, and you're building this business, your spouse is seeing that. So not only are they seeing that, are you and your spouse having a conversation about this growth? Are you having a conversation about the books that you're reading, the CDs that you're listening to, the networking events you're going to? Are you having those conversations? Because I think what happens, I can only speak from my own personal experience, is that with my ex-spouse and he actually introduced me to being an entrepreneur. That was his thing. He always talked about wanting to be an entrepreneur. Go figure, we're like in different places now, even though he introduced me to it. But it's like, even having those conversations, a lot of times people will say they want these things, but their actions don't align with what they're saying that they want. So is it really that they outgrew each other, or it was more so that spouse really did not want to do or support what you were doing? So, I think a lot of times we got to be careful in the words, in my opinion, that we use, because it doesn't actually hold the person accountable, or you yourself accountable. Because if you had the conversation, in my opinion, with your spouse, and you had several conversations, and they just say, you know what, I don't believe in this, or I don't want to do it, or whatever that conversation looks like, and then you choose to stay, then you can't be mad at them, because they've already expressed to you what their thought process on it. So you can't get mad. You either have to accept that you are on different paths and figure out a way to still coexist, or you have to leave, but you can't hold them accountable, responsible for a choice that you made when they already told you what they feel about it. So for me, the biggest piece is the communication. What is being communicated as you are growing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, everybody said that. Everybody said communication, but some of us realize, just like what you said, some people just aren't willing to make any changes. They are where they are. They're comfortable where they are.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to do anything different. You're trying to grow. You can't even have a conversation sometimes.
Sometimes, conversation
like, okay, so
be had.
What do we talk about?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What do we talk about?
Yeah.
So it was an interesting conversation. It left some people really thinking about some things, and I thought and I got some feedback like the next day, like, Yeah, that was deep. And I was having fun because it was fun for me. And it was funny because I got a call back this morning and said, "Ooh, you made it so much more fun." Because I'm in a cracking, like, look, I do this 4 days a week live. So I'm on Good Morning Gwinnett by myself, just talking smack and reading horoscopes and playing songs by myself. Speaking of that, I am the author. So you got something to say? You want to start a podcast? There's a book on Amazon about that. Shout out to myself. But I'm on Good Morning Gwinnett every morning, just, stumbling and bumbling over my words. So for me to go into somebody else's space in their house, for me to go to somebody else's house and be a guest, I can only bring me to the table. And I got good feedback, like, "Oh, that was the best show ever." I'm like, really? Because I wasn't so serious. I was in there cracking jokes. Like, that's the second time I've done the show. And the guy actually was getting ready to record the show. And I just bust out and said something crazy. He was like, "Oh my God." And I just bust out and started laughing. And I did it on purpose because he's so serious all the time. And I just disrupted what he was about to do. It's like, "Audrey," I'm like, and I started laughing. But that's just what listen, I like having fun. I like being free. Have I gotten to the $1 million mark yet? Not yet, but I'm on my way. But in the interim, would I give up my freedom? No, I will not. So even though I'm about to do Drake. Even though I haven't reached the pinnacles I plan to reach, that's Drake, y'all. Speaking of Drake, somebody hit him in the face with a phone while he was on stage. I thought that was so terrible.
Phones.
Why would you go to Drake concert and then hit him?
Why are you going
to was that love he was trying to show? What was that about?
Somebody else just got hit in the face with a phone.
Nuts.
BB like somebody, BB Drexel. I'm not sure.
But look, on the subject, but off the subject, on the subject of celebrities, what do y'all think about this Keke Palmer stuff?
What? I didn't hear it.
Well, no.
What is it?
Well, she just had a baby. Allegedly. No, she had a baby. So that's
true.
So we know we had a baby. So allegedly, her baby's father, he tweeted something on Twitter, and I'm trying to, I don't know what all we can say, all these disclaimers, look, I'm just talking. Allegedly. But she went to the Usher concert, and she had on her little see-through little outfit showing all her after mommy, goodness and stuff, and her goodness and her mercy, okay? And Miss Goodness and Miss Mercy, and for peace sake, will have a fit if they do outfit her on stage like that. But anyway, read the book. Praise the Lord. But anyway, he had an issue with what she had on. Mm-hmm. And so whenever a celebrity or what have you is on stage with at an Usher concert, allegedly, he will bring them on and groove with them a little bit. So she was feeling her, her mama, she was feeling her good, she was doing it. And he sends this tweet that basically she shouldn't be doing that. You a mom now, right? And so, the Twitter people went for him, okay, to the point where he had to delete his page. Y'all gotta check it out. But it's a good conversation piece because she's not wifed up. Because we're talking about relationships here, marriages and things like that. They have a child together, but he had married her, but yet he wanted to claim her. And then she's a celebrity. She's always out there. She has an outgoing personality. Right. Nothing really is off limits with her. She, she's really bold. She's courageous. And if the outfit was a see-through sheer dress, and it had a little bodysuit underneath, but it was cheeky. All her cheeks was out. Mm-hmm. So there's a clip allegedly. Photoshop all this stuff where, Usher, he looking like, oh yeah, he's singing. So they was acting. They're also actors. But this dude got so caught up, he allegedly sent this statement. So her clap back was, "I wish I had taken more pictures." But we have to, you can be aligned with some people who don't feed who you are, as we were just saying, Right. And at some point you got to know when to hold them and when to fold them. And in this case,
go ahead, Kenny Rogers. Go ahead.
Yeah, right. Right. But it's a very interesting. Y'all check it out. So we can
I think you just talked about a lot of different layers to lift a lot of different dynamics into that. That you can first and foremost, when you are, whether you're a public figure or not, because right now we are on a platform and we're having a conversation. So in doing so,
platforms,
I'm sorry?
Seven platforms.
Okay. So we are opening ourselves up right now for people to comment on our hairstyles, our voice. Yes. You know, what we say, what we don't say, what we should say.
Right, exactly. What's in the back of our room.
Right. You know,
I mean, that's just what it is.
Forget about the fact that we are entrepreneurs. We're successful business women, African-American women at that. People will feel like they have the autonomy to say whatever they want to say. So that's the first thing that you got to, you know, dissect that, because people are going to do that. It doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it wrong. They just feel like they have the opportunity to platform, so they're going to do it. Okay, that's one thing. The second thing is, you said yourself, you know, she is not married to this person. So we don't know, and we're not privy to the conversations that they've had at home.
Right.
In terms of, you know, how she presents herself, etc. At the same time, she had a child with this person.
Right.
You know, so that brings in a whole nother dynamic. Mm-hmm. And then the added piece to that is that she is a public figure. Right. You know, so being a public figure, you know, it comes with its own responsibilities. I can only say for me, at 47 years old and a professional, I want to carry myself in such a way that whether it's an older person or a younger person, I still feel like I am respected. Now, whether or not they're going to respect me or not is really still not any of my business. But I just feel like you can still be sexy.
Yes.
You can still carry yourself in such a tone that the most private parts of you, of your body, does not have to be exposed, and nor should it. It's just that we live in a society right now to where it's expected for you to show your glory. And it's like, why is that expectation? You know,
when she look cute, she look, I mean, you know, she young, you know what I'm saying?
And I don't doubt it.
Because look, you know, I grew up during the Freaknik era. I'm from Atlanta, you know what I'm saying? Actually, let me do this, because Atlanta people who are from Atlanta, they trip, you know. Oh, you ain't really Atlanta, but I'm a Decatur girl for real. But that being said, you know, it's like back at that Freaknik time, you know, that was booty shorts, you know, and everything. Mm-hmm. So that was a way that you did it. Now, I wasn't the one that had all my cheeks hanging out, you know, and all that kind of stuff, because personally, that's just not me anyway. Mm-hmm. But if it's you, like, because somebody allegedly said that Sierra had more to, I forget what event she went to, but she had the same kind of stocking type thing on as well. I can't remember where she went, but she had it on. You know,
I think it was the Met Gallery, because they were all naked at the Met Gallery. I think, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they were all, everything was hanging out at Met this year.
Yeah, so I'm looking like, well, like you're saying, well, what is that? I mean, what is that about? I was just, this is a sidebar. I was riding in an area, and the guys were out doing the four wheeling and doing the donuts and all that kind of stuff. And it was kind of, you know, it was in a urban area or what have you. And I'm looking and walking down the street.
You say in an urban area in the hood?
I'm not gonna say that. So this is my spot. Okay. But we're gonna say urban area. Okay. But it's because it's really not the hood. That's what's crazy. It is, but it's not. You know, it's hoodish, but you know, a little bit. It can be. It's, you know, but so these young folks walking out, and I'm like, what am I looking at? Booty, just ass. Excuse me, just out, walking down the street.
Here we go.
And I'm saying, what in the why? Okay, why?
Right.
And I mean, they had the shapes. You know, but I mean, this was to the point where they had slashed up their little jean shorts and little stuff hanging, you know, little layers hanging. I mean, they just walking in the middle of the street. And I'm like, why? But then I had to remember, Freaknik. It's just like this stuff it's nothing new.
Right. It definitely recycles itself and it gets worse with each generation. And I get that.
But,
you know, I do.
But not to cut you off, but to speak along with you. But that's what my mama then was saying about me,
Right.
because I would put on my cat suit. I remember I got pictures, okay, my pictures, but cat suit, baby, down. And I'm like, but that what it is a measure of confidence that you have when you're comfortable in who you are. Now, does that mean it makes you make intelligent or correct decisions that will be a problem later on in life? But maybe that's what it is. I mean, I just
Well,
I don't
See,
know.
I don't see that as confidence.
You don't.
No, I don't see that as confidence. I see that as wanting to get attention and seeking attention. In my opinion,
Okay.
Well,
that's how I see it.
Okay.
I mean, because after all, you walking around with your cheeks showing
They was
and
cheeking.
your boobs out. I promise you're going to get attention. But here's the thing: like I have a 17-year-old daughter. So and I have to have these conversations with her because their generation is that generation. They have no problem.
They have no problem doing that. Exactly.
And wearing cat suits, as you say. And we have these conversations all the time. And my thing, and I tell her, like, listen, baby girl, the attention that you are wanting, I promise you, you don't want and you can't handle. Mm-hmm. And it's not to say that gives someone free reign to violate her or disrespect her. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Mm-hmm. What it does, though, is it brings awareness to you and to your body that I'm sure you're not seeking, but you will get it. And you're not equipped to handle what comes along with it. So to me, that is the piece that we don't talk a lot about. Kiki is a beautiful woman. She's an adult. She absolutely have the right to make whatever decision she wants to make when it comes to her wardrobe. The same thing as Sierra Williams or any other woman out there that does that. Mm-hmm. The piece to that, though, is that you can't say or believe that you're not influencing other people, i.e. my 17-year-old daughter, yes. And then you don't have these conversations. So they're not disconnecting that this is a grown person at 45 and I'm 17. Yes. So while at 45 they can wear it, at 17 you should not. They're not connecting that together.
And I think you're right. I'm sorry, go ahead, but I was just going to say I think you're right, Letitia, when it comes to that, when it comes to the influence and things that other people have over the people who are looking at them, because it's not just always about. I mean, I think at this point, sometimes I feel you can be confident and sexy and all that without doing all that. That's how I feel. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's just a personal thing, but based on how you dress and the things that you wear, and if you're out in public, and even if you're not, but if you are a mother or if you are a grandmother or whatever it is, and you have children there, and do you expect your children to look at that and say, and have a discernment to say, well, she's grown, I'm not going to do that. That doesn't happen. Just like you said, it doesn't happen. If they feel if you're doing that, they can do that. And then now you have a whole history of your children growing up looking at that, saying that that's okay, that it's okay for me to dress that way when it's not, you know what I mean, at that age. So a lot of
when you finish, I want to add piggyback on that.
You know what I mean? I think a lot of times that gets construed with us feeling that we're confident and we're sexy in our bodies, and that's a beautiful thing. But I don't think it always has to be displayed in that sense. I mean, if you're comfortable with that, that's great. But just understand sometimes the consequences that go with that as well.
Exactly.
Because you're not the only one looking at that. You're not the only one looking at that.
This is good. It's just what comes with it. And not only that, I can say for me, I don't want to be the conversation to be about my wardrobe, what I'm wearing, what I'm not wearing. I want the conversation to be about, since we're talking about Kiki, me being a phenomenal actress, me being a comedian, me being a great singer, me being a great mother, me being an influencer to young children. Whatever it is that you are doing, I would prefer for me that the dominant conversation is not about my wardrobe, what I'm wearing, what I'm not wearing, but about everything else that I am building and putting out there to brand, because that's what happens. That becomes a conversation, and then they forget about who you are as a person.
Well, I love what you said about the dominant conversation, because truthfully, the dominant thing in this whole conversation was the fact that this person was staking a claim on the individual,
Mhm.
Okay.
and it wasn't really about her clothes. It was
Right.
more so about the fact that he felt like he had the right to say,
Control or
this is what
anything,
you can do, this is how you
What
can
you can
move,
do.
this is
Mhm.
what a mother is, this
Right.
is how you should present yourself. But he wasn't speaking in terms of what he should do, because he said, I'm a family man. That's what he said, allegedly, and so he was speaking in terms of having a covenant with someone. That's how he was fixing it up. And he was like, there's just certain things you don't do. So that flipped it around, like, how you gonna talk like that?
Yes.
But you haven't even married this young lady. You haven't made her a wife. She is the mother of your child, but yet you have these standards. So
Yes.
that's been the conversation.
Mhm.
That's
Mhm.
me talking
He
about
didn't have
Cassie.
the right. Basically.
And that's why I said we
Don't
don't
feel
know
he
what their
has- he doesn't
conversation
have the
is
right.
like at home and what they've actually spoke about. Not to make excuses for him, because I definitely agree. Because at the same time, it's like, if we're talking about covenant and we're talking about marriage, then if we're going from the biblical standpoint, then you really shouldn't have a child right now, because we aren't married and we don't have that covenant.
Well, see, that's what it was. Right.
It's so many different dynamics to this. The wardrobe sparked conversation. So, we can say, well, if she didn't have the wardrobe on, it wouldn't spark the conversation. But at the end of the day, we still have no idea what is being said behind doors, what their conversations have been like, and what has sparked for him to come now and say this.
Well, it's all interesting, Audrey, go ahead, because I wanted to say something as a mother of two adult girls, and they're totally different, and I know what their struggle was as they were growing up, and I know how they saw me as a single mom, because the majority, even though I was divorced, I was gonna say something, but
that's another conversation.
I'm gonna say something another time, but the majority of the time I raised my girls alone. It was me. And I prided myself on setting them a good example. On the other hand, I'm also a hairstylist. So I've seen all types of women, and I've helped them get prepared for different things. And that's why I said that about confidence, because you have so many women who they don't feel good about themselves, and they don't feel good about their bodies, whether they got boobs, no boobs, whether they got tail, no tail, whether they tall, short, dark, light. I have heard it all. On top of that, I have two beautiful daughters who are not what society would deem classic beauties, but they are beautiful. One of them is real bold. I mean, she's a plus size, she bold, she got beautiful skin. I mean, she's amazing, and she will let you know. But I had to raise them from little girls and they're both tall. Both of my girls are tall. One is slimmer and one is full and voluptuous like me. The other one has what they call the word. How do you pronounce this word? Drop it in the comments, but it's SVELTE. Is it
Svelte?
Svelte. So the oldest daughter, she has that type of figure, but both of them have such a beautiful hue. They're like my Hershey chocolate drop. But I had to talk to them from little and tell them, remind them of who they are. Walk straight in who you are. You don't let anybody dictate what you do. Now that the youngest one, sometimes she shocked me. I'm like,
I understand that.
Why? But when she tells me what she experienced as a young Black woman, things that they sometimes can't be forthcoming with when they're talking to their parents, what she experienced from 8th grade up until, adult, she wasn't able to really tell me what she really was going through in school. And I'm saying all this because I'm paralleling it with Kiki. Kiki had an issue with her skin, allegedly. And it was not her color, but the problematic parts of it. So I think that for her to wear something that was sheer or what have you, she was regaining her confidence in that area, because they allegedly dogged her out about her skin, she had acne really bad, and it was all over her body. And so I think it was part of that. So it was really, I think that was really interesting, but that opens a whole nother dynamic to, our conversation later, that we have to work on our self-worth. Absolutely. We have to be confident in who we are. And society has, if I love history, so, and I'm an avid reader, so I've seen all kinds of wardrobe things. There was a time when people put the bustle on the back because they wanted a bigger behind, or they didn't say that, or they put the things, panniers on the side to make their hips broader. They cinch their waist, but yet you have you
all the stuff we don't have to do today? Just put your clothes on,
right?
And all that's gonna pop, backside, everything gonna pop,
right? But some people picked at people who were made just like that. So that's a whole nother conversation. But y'all, I love it. I love it here. I love what you're talking about.
I just want to jump in about Kiki real quick, y'all, because I'm looking at this from a different perspective. So when I think about what Kiki did, I'm looking at it from a perspective of she is a celebrity. She's in the public eye all the time, right? And one thing about being in the public eye, especially if you want to stay relevant, you got to stay relevant. So she done had the baby. People probably think she's at home being a mother, which she probably is. I'm not saying she's not, but she did exactly, and she got exactly what she wanted. A firestorm from the media. That's what she needed. Right. She wants to stay relevant. She watched Gabrielle come out half naked last week with her booty hanging out. Sierra was half naked the week before. It worked because everybody was talking about it. But that makes her relevant. He probably doesn't understand that because she's the mother of his child. But when you look at it from her perspective as a businesswoman, well, if they got a firestorm, I'm doing the same thing because I need to stay relevant. Yes, I'm a mother. Yes, I'm a first-time mother, but I still want to be in my craft and I still want to stay relevant. And let me tell y'all something. The best person when it comes to PR is Richard Branson. If you go look up Richard Branson, you'll see all of the crazy things he's ever done to get PR, and they've all worked. You just got to be bold enough to do it. And so for her, even Gabrielle, like if she just did a movie on Netflix, right? Mm-hmm. She wants to stay relevant, so she got to do crazy stuff, and they got the body to do it. We said, why would you do that? People are looking. Yep, people are looking. So when I think about it from a business perspective, it's a good PR move. Now, how would it be a move that I would make? No, but would I try to think of something crazy like that to do so I can get media attention? I always do. I always think of crazy things. I put like Valentine boxes from the dollar store to people, and they work.
I'm the numbers person. So what did you say, Georgette? What did she say? What did she say?
I thought she said something about booty shorts. I don't know.
Oh God! I would just say, well, I mean, not me. I mean, if you ask me, I wouldn't do that. But I understand the relevance of getting that. And I said, okay, well, when we getting those booty shorts on? Okay. Let's be relevant.
Absolutely. Because so I'm going back to what you said, Audrey, me being the numbers person. So you said it's, she got what allegedly, because we don't know what her intent was, right. But we do know that they had the conversations and she's relevant from that perspective, which goes back to what I said before. But she is relevant for her wardrobe, not because I get that. Because you say
they say any PR is good PR, bad
and we're gonna disagree because I'm gonna go back to the numbers thing. So now that people are talking, are they gonna now go watch her movies?
Yep.
Are they going if she has merch? Are they gonna buy her merch just because? Yeah. Well, we don't know that. We're saying that.
I wish we could ask her, did her numbers go up on her merch? I bet you do.
She probably got more followers.
Absolutely. Email me, Audrey at noisemedia.us. We want you to come on the Friday morning mingle with us. We want to know, did your merchandise number go up? Did your revenue? Audrey at noisemedia.us and just put guest in the subject line, Kiki. We want you on the Friday morning mingle with us because I got questions. Why'd you do it? I'm thinking it's a business thing. Everybody else.
It could very well be. I mean, like I said, it could very well be. We don't know. We're not privy to the conversation.
But you know what? At the end of the day, it didn't even have to be business. She wanted to go out, have a good time, right? You know what I'm saying? Show whatever she had, and hang out with Usher or whatever, allegedly. You know what I mean? Concert. I mean, that's probably all she was thinking about doing. Like
she was with her crew. She was with her crew.
Just another element of who we are as people. I think a lot of times, you know what I mean? And those, you know, hey. I mean, you know, I like the party too, but you know, I mean, at the end of the day,
I believe you put on some booty shorts. I think you will. I think you will. Hey, look,
PR move. Wait, go ahead.
Go ahead, Georgia. You get your followers up. Go ahead and put on that booty shorts, baby. Get it up.
I went to see
the dog world with Georgette.
When Janet was here, I went to see her, right? And like this head looking, I got bad head now, you know, just all over the place. But generally, I wear my hair short. But I was like, man, I'm going to see Janet. I need to be popping. Well, I got off my other job for too late or whatever. So I had enough time to go run home and just change clothes. Put on the typical hairstylist wardrobe, and hairstyles don't come for me. But we wear black most of the time. So I had it on, and my braids needed to be done over, you know, and everything. So, man, I was still going to see Janet. And I threw this little band thing on and just kind of poofed it up, kind of like I'm fooling with it today. But anyway, when I got there, I'm looking around, and at that time, Taylor Swift was having her concert as well. So I'm seeing different cultural dynamics, okay? Mm-hmm. So, honey, it was folks that had on these little mini dresses or whatever with white cowboy boots on, fishnet stockings. I was seeing everything. I saw people that had heels on this high. You know, you saw it all. And they was ready to party, you know? So that's what I was thinking it was. And then hear me in my work clothes going to see Janet. So it's like, I don't know. I mean, I wish let me see. I probably should have put on me some skin tight jeans. I should have put on me some. I'm a platform wedge girl. I like to wear my wedge. And most people know that Cree love, and that's my other little name, y'all. She love her jeans. My fitted jeans. I love to wear fitted jeans. I'm gonna show this donk, okay? I am. So y'all better be ready. Like when we go across that stage, when we doing our thing. Now I like my wide leg fitted clothes. I'm kind of like Fatima girl. If you watching, honey, I love you. You know Fatima from Sisters. That girl be so strong, honey. I love it. But she have her pants on. They be killing, and that's me. That's me.
Listen, we got 3 minutes. Okay, so you got a taste of what this show is going to be like. This is what we're going to be doing every Friday. Yes, we talk business, but we talk real life too. It's all about real life and doing business at the same time.
That is part of business, man. Real life is part of business. Yeah. You know what I mean?
We got 2 minutes, y'all. What's the closing? What's the closeout? We got 2 minutes.
Y'all get ready. Get ready. We coming.
Okay, so yes, get ready. We are coming. But to go back to what you said, Audrey, business is great, but you can't be serious all the time.
No,
you got to have times where you can let your hair down and you can have, other conversations where you can have fun and just do all those things, because we deal with enough stress on a day-to-day basis. So to be able to have this environment right now where we spend a lot of time talking about somebody else we don't even know. We hope that we'll meet Kiki one day. We have no idea. But again, it's just a great opportunity to be able to hear different perspectives. And as you can see, 4 different women, all different backgrounds, all African-American, and we could still have a difference of opinion and still have a good time. Right. That's the take home. And we should be able to do this all the time. We don't have to agree. It's okay. You can have your own opinion. Just be respectful of one another and still love one another. Exactly. And that's what we do. So here's my virtual hug to everyone. My love to everyone. Yeah, my daughter always, how you do that thing?
I don't know either, Letitia.
There we go. Is that it?
I love you. Thanks for having us, Audrey. Thank you, I love y'all.
This is how this is gonna go every Friday. I'm looking at the screen, right? My screen has just been frozen like for the last minute. I'm like, this is crazy. So anyway, this is what you guys can check in for every Friday. So we came on at 9 o'clock this morning, but next Friday it'll be 10 o'clock. So 10 o'clock every Friday morning.
Yay.
You get us with the morning mingle. You might get all six of us. You might even get a special guest. We never know who's going to be on the show. So just be sure to subscribe to the show on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Amazon. So you never miss an episode. You can subscribe to the show. And next week, all of the books will probably be in the carousel. So you can purchase books from all of our authors and be sure to support them as we keep doing this thing. So thank you again, y'all. Listen, I got to go. I got to go jump on the call, but we'll be back again next Friday, same time. Thank you all for listening. Until next time, make it a great day. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Thank you guys for joining. Bye.
All right.